What is an unconventional thing you find sexy? Big unique noses. It's something I've always loved about other people. And in recent years, it's something I've come to love about myself. It's like, people will go around saying mean stuff about huge noses, or broken noses, and I'll be like, what the fafk? They are fucking gorgeous. Likewise, I feel really sad whenever someone is peer pressured into nose surgery. I'd seen someone do that. I didn't know her well, but it made me sad nonetheless. I seem to be in a small minority of people in preferring partners my own height. I think there's something really sexy about seeing literally eye to eye. Bet it's better practically too. Strange about heights also. I don't seem to have a preference. I love short women, but I love a woman that's taller than me too. There is no deal breaker. I'm a woman, and I feel the same way about men. Shorter than me, taller than me, my exact height. It has no bearing on whether or not I'm attracted to you. I will say, though, that not having a dramatic gap in either direction is preferable, if only because it's more practical that way. My first boyfriend was very tall, and liked that I was tall too, because he didn't have to lean down very far. I have a fetish for extreme tallness. However, I would never turn down a guy my height or even a bit shorter. I'm 5'3". I don't meet men shorter than me often, but it happens. What I really don't like is tall guys who make their height their entire personality. That'll turn me right the fafk off. My boyfriend has a very vibrant smile, and there's something so satisfying about when he smiles and those laugh lines disappear into his smile, and honestly, the world feels like it's glowing a little bit. I can't really describe it. I've always suspected that many guys that profess to have a type were engaging in some sort of performance to seem selective or something. For me, anytime I think about preferring a certain type of girl, I immediately recall someone I've met or seen that was the exact opposite of that type, that I find equally attractive. Actually, I find it sometimes less practical, when we walk somewhere and put each one arm around the other, who puts the arm on the upper side, and who on the lower side. It's always a bit uncomfortable for the one on the upper side. Being in the tall-ish side for men my age in my country, most girls I met in H's, and in college, were between 155 and 165 centimeters tall. When I met my wife, the first thing that struck me as extremely attractive was that she's around my height, and I could see her eye to eye up close. When we started dating, she once asked me what was the first thing I liked about her, and I said, "Your height." She told me no one had ever complimented her on her height, not even her exes. I think she looks the most attractive when we go out to formal dinners, or we get invited to wedding and she gets to wear high heel shoes, and ends up a couple inches taller than me. When a guy is nervous when he's talking to me and his voice quivers, I read it as it crushed your confidence to try to nervously talk with the quivering voice to a woman as opposed to talk to a woman without the quivering voice. I'm sure that's not what you meant though. I've occasionally had women flirt with me and actively pursue me, attractive women as well. I just can't muster the confidence to act on it. Eventually, they think I'm not interested and move on. It sucks. I've even had one very attractive woman, athletic build with short haircut, sit beside me on the bus and slap me on the thigh. I asked her if I knew her, and she said, "You do now." I pretty much went quiet, and she ended up striking up a conversation which ended up with me getting her number. I was on cloud 9 there, but I was ghosted immediately. I feel like maybe she thought I was someone she knew at first or something, but I just need a woman to slap me in a good way like that and start up a conversation with me. I'm no good at starting up a conversation with people I don't know. Thinking about it, it would not play out well if a stranger who is a guy slapped a woman on the thigh and forcefully started a conversation. For me though, it's just what I need. I love when they get lost in their thoughts and talk about what interests them. Eventually, they come back to reality and apologize for rambling, but I tell them to continue. You know, they've been hurt before, but they're with me now. And I love the passion. I think it's really cool that you're able to not only take note of the fact that they apologized because they've been hurt before, but also go out of your way to ask them to continue and make sure they know it's not a bad thing. I think this is attractive from the other side, as someone who rambles a lot. Lol. Anyone who apologizes to you for something has been ridiculed and told that they were wrong for doing it in the past. A little reassurance can go a long way. I had a girlfriend when I was 14, and she was the girl I had most of my firsts with, except first kiss or first boob touch. I had kissed 2 girls before her and gotten over the shirt boob squeeze, and I have one very distinct memory. At the point of this memory, we had done just about everything. We'd given each other oral, we had s.e.x.y, but because we were 14, all this was happening in my parents' basement, and so we had to take some precautions to avoid getting caught, and as such we only ever exposed the small part of our bodies required for the act. So I'd pull my pants down to just above my knees kind of thing, so I'd seen every part of her naked body, just never all at once. One day, my parents were both out and my girlfriend and I were in the house alone, so we decided to get completely naked to have s.e.x.y. I wasn't expecting it to be any different, but for some reason, Bilbo Baggins really fucking liked the sight of her completely naked body rather than just bits and pieces uncovered. He stood at attention with more vigor than I had ever felt before, and I damn near tackled the girl in my excitement. And I remember it was oddly her collarbones and chest between or just underneath the collarbone that had me the most worked up, not the whole breasts, but say like 4 inches down from the collarbone. I find an asymmetrical smile very cute. There's a YouTube channel Charismatic Voice, and she is a good example of what I mean, as she often smiles higher on one side. It doesn't seem super common, but I've noticed it as a trait of a few people. My first wife had a crooked smile that just melted my heart. Sadly, she passed away in 2001 when our kids were 10 and 6. My younger barely remembers her, like the memory of a dream. He said to me once, "Both of our children have that same crooked smile, as do our grandchildren. They will never meet nor know her, but I see her in their faces and she lives on through them." Eye wrinkles, or crow's feet if you will. Crow's feet are happy lines. You form them from smiling, so having those creases gives you a really warm facial expression. So many women hate them because they look old, but I think it makes them look so kind. The ones you have to worry about are angry lines like the 11s and worry lines. Those make you look perpetually distressed. Speech impediments. I dated a girl who had a bad stutter when she was a child. It had improved a lot through speech therapy and stuff by the time I met her as an adult. It came out a bit with certain words from time to time though, and she would say a lot before she could get a word out sometimes. I don't fully understand how stuttering or the coping skills to help with it work, but she wasn't saying in the way that I would normally find annoying, which is people using it as a gap filler in the middle of talking or pondering about something. It was more like she needed it as a precursor to get a word out when she was struggling, if that makes sense. Anyway, I found the whole situation absolutely adorable. Lol. I can't be alone. My stutter is one of my biggest insecurities. I get stuck on certain letters, so I go through accents I picked up over the years to hopefully force myself to push past that feeling. I hate it because it has forced me to completely change up how I word sentences, and to me it diminishes my ability to speak with confidence or eloquence. My girlfriend had this friend from her hometown who is a highly incompetent person, horrible at handling her finances, struggled to hold down simple jobs, constantly complained about her lack of stable relationship while hooking up with anything with a pulse, etc. Basically, the polar opposite of my girlfriend, who is consistently competent. This friend used to visit us occasionally, and I would always get aggressively s.e.x.y towards my girlfriend after those visits. My girlfriend and my therapist both separately noted this pattern after a while, and eventually reached the conclusion that it was so frustrating and irritating hearing her friend be chi-chi about easily solvable problems and ignore any requested advice that my girlfriend's comparatively high-level competence somehow evolved into a huge turn-on. Women who push their limits. We have a woman I work with who lost a leg a few years back, and when she talks about her struggles as limits to break instead of things that weighed her down, ain't that so happy for her in that warm soul way. I noticed this for the first time literally yesterday. Got lost trying to find a bus stop in the city, went to this tech store, came across and asked them for some USB variants I need along with directions. One of the men there had teeth like you described, and he was just so cute. I hope he didn't notice my glances. I've always found moles and other skin blemishes to be really attractive. A lot of women are really self-conscious if they have one that's really prominent in a visible area, but I honestly can't get enough of them. And I think they look so hot, especially if it's on a woman's neck, chest, or abdomen. I don't know anyone else that feels the same way as I do, but I also haven't told anyone since I don't want to be seen as weird. The small boobs get me as well. Once got called pedo because of it. I mean, sorry that women with small tits exist, but they are perfect. Should they be ashamed? The fact that there are plenty of women with small boobs in itself proves it's perfectly acceptable to like small boobs and not be a pedo. Otherwise, are they saying it's not acceptable for anyone to be attracted to or have a relationship with any of these perfectly good mature feminine women? They're really body shaming those women. Small boobs makes me feel so self-conscious. Last I checked, I'm 100% a real woman, nursed 5 babies with them too. Can't help that I'm an AA cup. I've literally been told there's no way a man could be attracted to a stick like me. Well, jokes on them, lol. It's really stupid how no one cares to call out skinny shaming like they do fat shaming, because most of us who are skinny can't control our size. I can't gain weight. I've tried. Just doesn't happen. Literally nothing I can do about it. So how in the hell am I supposed to get curves? Lol. Shaming me about it doesn't do anything. Likewise, and friends never understood it, so the way I explain it that they begin to understand is genetics. I've always gone for slim petite women who typically exercise as I do, as to me it signifies health. Women with larger assets, especially those that don't exercise, tend to get much larger later on, which I am absolutely fine with not preferring. The retort to the latter point is usually that looks shouldn't be that important, to which my tried and tested and genuine response is I don't have time to help someone through their challenges given my advancing years. I want someone who already has their side figured out. You only get one vessel in life. If you can't even look after that, what else can you not handle? Is that unreasonable? If you answer yes to that question, you and I do not agree. For me, women with broad shoulders are so attractive. Same thing with stretch marks. God damn, it gets me going. I just want to tell all the women in the world, please do be insecure about it. It is hot as tea. Stomachs or chef's kiss hips are also extremely attractive. And women with a bob haircut, all may or may not be conventional, but all are chef's kiss and gets me going. But honestly, just women in general are so sexy no matter what, obviously not minors in the most respectful way. Physically, mean if they have an unattractive personality, it's an instant turn-off, and all of the things women might feel self-conscious about in my head. I'm just like stunned, like I can't concentrate cause it's so sexy. Just my take and opinion, hopefully doesn't come across as over-visualizing. Women just want to appreciate all women and their bodies. I've always been insecure about my stomach stretch marks. I knew they were common on stomachs, but I never thought of the other places they happen till I got some on my legs, and what my mom calls linebacker shoulders. Not in a way to make me feel bad though, because she has them too. It's surprising and really nice to know that some people appreciate those things rather than find them distasteful. Baggy clothes. I think it suggests that she's casual and easygoing to me. When I was a teenager in the late 90s, it was a pretty common fashion amongst teen girls and women, and I ate it up. Later, Billie Eilish came along and brought back women wearing baggy clothes, and I ate it all up again. My guy has horizontal stretch marks on his back, and I find them very attractive. I don't know why. I'm so used to just vertical up-down ones. Also, he's one of those people that bites their nails all the way down, and I enjoy playing with his fingers when they're so short like that. When a woman just can't resist me, there's something about being desired that just does things for me. So if a woman who is capable of informed consent, so not drunk or high, not a minor, the usual, throws herself at me, you best believe I'm giving her my absolute best. If I had $1 for every time a woman threw herself at me like that, I'd have exactly $1, which isn't much, but it's weird that it happened once. My boyfriend made these huge black wings for Halloween, think Lucifer. I never thought anything of a shirtless guy with wings when I watched that show. Did nothing for me, never got excited watching or anything, but I'll tell you, when he put those wings on, was instantly, inexplicably, and ridiculously turned on. I don't know. People who do something for you touching make meaningful eye contact without asking or making a sound. Like they're just in tune with you or know you so incredibly deeply that you can communicate what you need or want without saying anything. Like when you watch a sad movie and without taking your eyes off the screen, they hold your hand. Or they order you your favorite drink before you arrive. Or they look deep into your eyes and without speaking ask, "Are you okay?" Or, "I want a favq," or, "You know me," or, "I see you." My wife with my kids. It's not sexy really, but the affection I feel for her anytime she interacts with my son or daughter is unreal. She's an amazing mother, and I wish I could reasonably afford survive more children, because the world is made so much better for the type of person she's creating raising. She's unfailingly patient, kind, and loving toward both of them, and it makes me love her so much more for it. In the end, it leads to a very strong physical attraction to her. I find it so sweet and sexy when a man talks about his beliefs in a respectful and non-judgmental way. My fiancé talks about religion with me. We do a couple's devotional, and it's so attractive when he opens up and discusses the religious and emotional commentary in the reading. When I can tell a girl doesn't spend a lot of time working on making her hair look nice, I think I just get a vibe that she isn't self-absorbed. Not saying that fixing your hair makes you self-absorbed, but it just makes me feel good knowing they don't care. The very slight hip movement some people make when they walk. I know everyone does that, but I can assure you some people move their hips more than others. And man, when a girl has a nice hip, and they just so happen to swing it slightly when walking, that melts me down, though sometimes I feel that I find it more cute than I find it sexy. I don't know why. I like nerdy guys, and I'm considered to be a hot girl, but almost always, it doesn't work out because I make them feel insecure. To be a bit more specific, I love tech nerds. I just think it's so cute how their eyes glow up when they talk about all the techy stuff I don't understand, but I love the passion behind it. And it's so hot how optimized their lives usually are, super organized, well put together, great conversationalist, etc. And my strengths are usually their weaknesses, and vice versa. I think I mostly prefer men taller than me, because not only am I tall, but I have a pretty large frame for a woman. Makes me feel not so big, but even then just like an inch or two taller than me, and I'm golden. But I also love the thought of scooping up a smaller man into my arms. Not having a big gap in either way is definitely a must for me as well. I'm a 5'4" woman and have always been attracted to more petite men. My boyfriend is 5'5", and it's perfect. I usually never dated beyond 3 inches taller than me. He has no complex when I want to wear heels and often excitedly says, "Wow, you're so tall now," which is really nice. Years ago when I was online dating before we got together, I felt like I had my pick of the bunch on apps where many other women were refusing to date under 6 feet. Haha. I'm above average height for a woman 5'7", so I'm not used to feeling short. I generally don't tower over people unless I'm wearing high heels, and I'm seldom the tallest person in the room, so I don't feel particularly tall either. But I'm not really used to having to look up when talking to or kissing people. As such, men who tower over me make me feel unsettled, so all my partners have been in a +1 inch height difference from me. I have to be honest that I don't get the hype with women who only want to date men that absolutely tower over them. I will admit I probably never would have dated a man that's shorter than me, just my preference. But every guy I've been with has been just slightly taller than me. My husband is only like 3 inches taller than me, and I love it. Lol, feels very intimate. I love the fact that other women reject short men. I love short men. I am 5'8", and I like men who are the same height or even 5'6". Shorter men are nicer, more attentive, and are better lovers. I think a tall girl with heels with the shorter male is super sexy. I don't think you're a minority. I remember reading one of those studies that incels linked claiming women like tall men, and it actually said that women prefer men close in height to themselves, but statistically men are taller and not shorter, so based on that it was men within a few inches of their own height that women preferred. It was definitely misrepresented that women want super tall men when it's a pretty common thing to prefer someone in a comfortable height relative to your own. I would love for that to be true, but I've seen some statistics myself, And there is a strong effect of people sorting into gender norm pairings, where the man is significantly taller and the woman is significantly shorter. Even if you account for the average height difference between women and women, there are way fewer same height or woman is taller relationships than you would expect from random chance. I always wonder too when girls say they want guys like a full foot taller than them. It's such a big discrepancy, like when you're walking side by side, or you have to stand and talk somewhere. It seems awkward. But I know there's reasons for it. I like someone closer to my height too. Although I do lean for a little shorter, maybe 2-3 inches shorter than me. I always thought it was a negative things to show, not hide that little nervousness in front of women you were attracted to. Lol. This isn't the statistical norm. Most women are attracted to non-arrogant confidence, so voice quivering would not be a good thing. It may be a good thing when you're actively having sex or something, but if you're trying to pick up a woman, it's much more likely to be a negative thing. I see so many men who are flat out terrified of smart and talented women, but I want to be around someone who can inspire and teach me. My girlfriend is a very talented artist and musician, and a translator by trade. Since I have a passion for English, and her specialty is French, we have such great conversations. Because those dudes are just weak and massively insecure about themselves. My girl is better than me in so many things and vice versa. We learn from each other's strengths to shore up our own weaknesses. Keeps s.e.x.y interesting. I think part of it is men treat dating with the same dominance play they do with socializing, where they think they need to impress the girl with their achievements or talents to win clout, be respected and desired. If they see a girl with more going on than them, it scares them that she won't respect him or desire him, so they panic and either compensate by trying desperately to impress her or give up and run. They don't realize they could be super attractive to that girl by just being genuinely interested in her hobbies and interests, even if he doesn't share them.